Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Zodiac Bandit, and today we're going to be recapping episode 7 of The Age of Umbra. So, without further ado, let's get into it. We start in the Celius Athenium, a safe haven in the Amber Reach that has a pyre. The remaining party members have sold a bunch of the stuff from their previous party members to get some better gear for them to move forward in their journey. Idle went on his own to heal a boy who was sick, and then was given a cryptic warning from beyond his understanding. Idle is now alone and the boy is out cold. He leaves the tent and sees the boy's sister outside. He asks if the boy has ever, pretended to be other people in the past, and she says no. He tells her not to share the fact that he helped her and that, by extension, Brixton helped the boy be healed. Idle then returns to the others and sees most of them are getting ready to rest up. Misty asks how it went, and Idle says it was good and doesn't tell the party about the warning. Snyx gives Idle some wine. It's rather vinegary. Idle thinks they need to leave first thing in the morning, and the others agree. Idle heals some stress off of Brixton before they go to bed so she can do other things instead of that further rest. They don't need to keep watch tonight because they are near a pyre. The party then get a long rest. Misty and Snyx prepare together to get some hope for the next day. Misty plays music and Snyx prays to Tyrus. Snyx hopes that Screeve forgives them and comes back to them, hopefully, who knows. Idle says that he wrote down a prayer after he messed up his last one. In dream I saw the pyre walk through ash and flame and veiled talk, a gift the world should never know, a heart that burns where gods ne'er go. They hide their light in humble shell to keep the pyres from ringing bell, but even quiet fires glow bright where stars are known by absent night. The party tell them that they liked it a lot. The party eventually find rest and get some sleep throughout the night. They take in everything that has happened to them on their journey and think about what they're doing and where they're going next. Misty dreams of August, who pulled her into the light and gave her a second chance at life. The party can feel the proximity of the fire. Brixton thinks about the pyre that she used to watch and those she used to watch it with. Idle can't get the look of the boy's face out of his mind, a glare from something not quite present. Did all of that actually happen? Was it just in Idle's mind? Is Idle going mad? Is he broken? Is he destined? He doesn't know the depths of the old faith or the new faith, but something calls him forward, and it has plans for him. The party wake up to the hustle and bustle of the city around them. They're morning people. No bad dreams for the group, but a renewed resolve after a night of thinking. Misty puts her illusion back on to hide her stone self, just in case. Matt gets max fear because, that's what happens after a rest. They get fear based on how many players there are and a roll. A soldier steps into their room and asks if he should get Commander Karen for them. And the party say yes. Not long after, the commander appears. She notes that they are on a mission of haste, and if they don't need anything else from the city, they should be on their way. Idle agrees and says if she's ever in need and near Desperlock, she can call on them for help. She asks for their names, and the party give them to her. A soldier writes it down behind her. The commander says that their way back they will have some space here on their way back as well, should they succeed or not. Brixton hopes to meet some other pyre keepers on her way back through. Kieran says if they have a branch, that obviously many other fire keepers want to meet her. Brixton asks if the winds are moving east, and the commander says that it's currently moving south, but it could change at any moment, so they should be swift. The commander says that they will be escorted out of the city, and tells Brixton to be mindful of those who would misuse her gifts if they are true. Brixton notes it and says that it's hard for those who have been touched by the gods. The commander says they are 100 years past divinity. Whatever has claimed to be touched by the gods is normally something else, and that she should be careful. Brixton acknowledges this. She tells them all to be careful, and then she leaves. The commander leaves. The soldiers step up to escort the party. They are taken through the city streets. The party are spotted by people as they go. They hear all sorts of rumors being said about them as they walk. Some people are very concerned that they're leaving already. By the time they reach the gates, there's about 50 people looking at Brixton. One voice asks if they're leaving already, and Brixton says that they need to push forward due to their calling. This freaks the people out in the Athenium. They ask her to keep them safe. Brixton says to find strength in each other. They are the enduring. They have a great community, and they shouldn't put their faith in strangers. They are good, but others might not be as good as them. She says that she has seen the greatness of this place already in such a short time, and they should have faith in that. The gates open behind the party and the people start to rush towards them. The soldiers block their path so the party can step outside, and they do so. The gates close behind them. Idle tells Brixton that it can be like that sometimes. Brixton feels bad for them. They need help even with the pyre that they have. Snyx notes the Desperlock will be in a bad shape too, so they need to be on their way. The party agree that they need to stay focused on their task, and the party start to head out, and Snyx will be leading the way. He leads them to the perimeter wall where there's another gate, and it's open, and they walk out into the other side. They are now on the northern rampart at the edge of the Ashkal Quarter. They look down, and it's maybe a 100-foot drop into a rocky depth below. They see the Idle Hollow Mountains base before them, and they look to the Cineabar Quarter. They walk along the top of the rampart. It's cold and windy up here. Matt spends a fear, and the party need to make a strength roll. Snyx 21, Brixton 16, and Misty a 10, and Idle a 15. They hold strong, and they don't get any negative effects from this wind. They look to their right and see the rest of the layered levels of the Ashkal Quarter. They see many creatures stalking below, waiting for something to devour. Ahead of them, they see the perimeter gate of the Cineabar Quarter. Before them is a very gothic-looking gate with symbols of the old houses of the Amber Reach. It's aged and damaged now, and on top of this gothic wall is spikes with skeletons lining it. The party need to go this way. They approach the gate. They stop as they hear a high-pitched screech off in the distance. It is the sound of the Umbra winds moving. They go to the gate, and it's open. Written on the gate in blood are some words. Welcome, come in, and revel. They step into the quarter and see wealthy homes, cobblestone roads, glass broken everywhere, and more spikes with bodies on them lining basically every inch of this place. It is clear that the class of this quarter is gone, and those who live here now are clearly enjoying it. There's some fire damage everywhere. Buildings have collapsed roofs, all sorts of madness. Some houses have barricaded their doors and windows for protection. Other barricades surrounding abandoned bonfires may be used for parties by the Damasque queens. Idle looks at the bodies, and they seem to be a few weeks old. Brixton looks out for Screeve, and she rolls an instinct roll and gets a 17 with fear. She keeps an eye out as they move, and none of the bodies that they see are familiar to them, which is a good sign for Screeve. The party move from building to building and alley to alley. They see ransacked buildings, but some nice things still remain. It seems that whoever came through here had either particular taste or, just didn't care for what was in there. It's clear that this district has fallen over time. This place used to be used by the rich to stay safe after the gods left. For a long time, this place was closed off to the world, but eventually they ran out of funds, and those who they paid to keep them safe wanted to be paid, and that's where the Damasque queens came from. The party don't see any monsters in this area. The party understands that it's actually kept mostly clean by the Damasque queens and their groups. There's no pirates here, so it is rather strange that there's not many monsters, but they must have a lot of numbers and a lot of people to clear the streets out. The party can explore, or they can run through this quarter if they want. Matt spends a fear, and as the party are looking into a house, a person walks out and then looks at Brixton and then walks through a wall. It is a ghost. Brixton marks a stress, and she can't find them again after it walks through the wall. The party want to look inside the house to see if they can find anything. Brixton noticed their clothes weren't tattered or dirty in any way. The party go inside the house. Misty steps in first. She rolls an instinct to roll, just sort of take in the surroundings. She rolls a 13 with fear. This place was torn apart, but there's no sign of physical violence, no blood or anything here, no murders. They all step inside now. Matt uses a fear, and off in the distance they can hear people laughing and talking. Brixton says hello. Snyx says to leave them alone. It's better off that they aren't noticed. The party continue to look around the house. Snyx rolls instinct and gets a 16 with fear. As he walks around, he hears the floor creaking below him, and then he suddenly steps on a hollow space. He slams his head into the ground using his horn and reveals an empty space below. It's a hatch of some sort. He jumps down and sees a storage room with long-term items sort of being held in here. It's mostly been used up. It was also once a wine cave or a wine cellar at some point. He sees a door that has a latch on it on this side. He opens it and sees a family of 4, long dead, with outfits similar to what Brixton saw on them beforehand. They seem to have locked themselves in here by mistake. Snyx asks if Idle wants to talk to some dead people. Idle and Misty are thrilled by this idea and jump down into the hole. Matt spends a fear, and he puts he puts a counter down. That's the advanced the crowned approaches, is what he claims it's called. Brixton hears the same laugh from before and a few other voices. They seem to be getting closer. She tells the party to be fast. Idle rolls his spellcasting and rolls a 15 with hope, increasing the progress counter that has been put down on the table as well. The party will be able to get 3 questions out of this creature, out of this body. They talk to the mother of the family, as the moms always know more than the father. The body sits up, and Snicks then asks the first question, what were you hiding from? The body says that the youngest child was showing signs of being touched, and it happening so soon after the riots was very dangerous for them. The parents did what they could to protect their child. The friends would drop off food and supplies for them, but they had to be alone in their darkness, and eventually they were forgotten until now. Idle then asks if they should know anything about the dangers that they'll go through in the Orum wilds. The body says that everything there seems to be alive, and the place places tricks on the mind. The land itself shifting. Once it grew cold, so did the will, and the humor is now just very twisted. The party then asks the body if it recognizes Misty, and she shows the stone form. The body says that this one is that. Not this one, but she's seen others like it. Vessels, they all went quiet. It says Misty is not empty, it's not hungry, and asks what she is before the body goes back to rest with its family. Idle thinks that they should put them to rest and maybe burn down the house. It'll also be a good distraction for them to be able to leave from the Damasque Queen's people, if that's who's outside. The party then hear voices talking. They say that they thought that they heard something from inside the house, and then Brixton drops down, and the party can hear footsteps above. Brixton tries to put the floorboard back where it was. One voice says that you're losing your mind and leaves, and the other one says that he's not losing his mind. Those ghosts know what they're doing, but this wasn't a ghost. He knows the difference between voices and ghosts, and then he leaves. They hear shouting all around. One says that here's a good place to rest up for the night, and asks if when the crown is coming. Another says 20 minutes. She's being pulled in her esteemed setup. It's her birthday. Idle says that they should set the house on fire for a distraction. Matt spends 2 fear, and the consequence counter goes up by 2. The party agree that they have to move and burn the place down. Brixton finds a kitchen in the back of the house, and there has a door going outside. With a strength roll of 18, she's able to open it. It seems that the Enduring don't have the same problem that Vox Machina did with doors. This puts the progress counter back down to 1, so it's now 1 for the progress counter, 2 for the consequences counter, so we're in good shape. The party set the house on fire. The party then squeezed through the door into the alleyway, and they can hear people all around them talking about the house. The people laugh, and they say it's going to be a warm night. They aren't noticed as they leave. Snicks will lead them on the next leg of their journey. Group roll. Snicks gets a +1 to his roll based on how everyone else rolled. He also adds his experience of well travel to give himself advantage on the roll. He rolls a 19 with fear. They get to the next district wall. This quarter is broken up into many districts. They hear people moving through this gate wall. They see 8 people pulling a massive carriage with massive chains, and the carriage is rather beautiful, as Matt describes it. It's very ornate and has many trinkets dangling from the top portion of it, and all the trinkets are jawbones. This carriage moves through the gate before it closes behind them, and then 2 people jump from the top of the wall on top of the carriage. Brixton rolls an instinct to see if they can tell which queen this is, and Brixton rolls a 19 with hope. She sees a halfling woman with black makeup outlining her jaw. She has a massive smile on her face, and they think it's Farah. Great. So not the Emerald Queen, but the Ruby Queen, based on how everything they know so far. The people pulling the carriage seem to have the same sort of metal rings and other metal inserts that Screeve did. They have many scars that look like sort of tattoos, and the types of metals going through their body change and vary depending on which one it is. The wall is about 20 feet high, and they can't fly anymore, and they don't have a grappling hook either. They sold it. Snicks can jump up there, though. He uses his death maneuver to jump up there, and without any issue. He has a rope in hand. He rolls finesse to see if he's noticed by any of the troop that was sort of pulling them before, or pulling the Damasque Queen. He rolls a 17 with fear and isn't noticed. He's up there and sees 2 winches with chains on them, and that's how you would open up the door down below. Styx lowers the rope to his friends so that they can try the winch because he's not, it's very strong. But he does tie the rope to the winch. Matt uses a fear to start a imminent chase. The progress counter and the consequence counter is returned. They both start at 4. And to escape the area from the birthday girl without drawing attention, that's the goal. If they're caught, they'll, the troop will try to see if the party want to see if they want to join the birthday party. Idol rolls a 16 with strength as he's trying to climb up the ladder. He gets to the top of the wall, but is a much bigger dude than Styx and realizes that he lifted the gate a little bit because it's tied to the winch, and it makes a thudding sound as it slams back to the ground once he reaches the top. The 2 of them on the top drop to make sure that they aren't seen. They look up and see that the group are tearing the place apart behind them, where they just were, so they can make a massive bonfire. Misty knows that she can't climb, so she's going to wait for them to open the gate for her. Brixton climbs up the rope. Misty helps her, giving her advantage. And Brixton rolls a strength check, 20 with hope. The progress counter goes down by 2. 1 left so that they can evade them properly. Brixton and Idol tag team the winch so they can both roll towards it. And Idol gets a 22 with fear. They pull the winch, and the counter for progress reaches 0. This means that they have luckily escaped. They open the door, and Misty's able to roll underneath it. They hear voices who seem to have noticed some sort of sound, but the party hop down without issue and then run to the north part of the next district. Styx noticed that it has a gate on that side, so that's where they're heading. One voice says to the other people that they're going to think you're crazy if you keep thinking you hear things. The party dodge the roaming Damasque patrols, diving from alley to alley. They eventually reach the exterior gate in this part of the district. The gate is closed and there is no one around. They seem to all be heading towards the party. They try to push open the gate. Brixton spends a hope to give Idol advantage on doing so. He rolls a 16 with hope. The door is far too heavy for him to push, however. It is massive, very big door. Idol looks at the wall to see if there's any footholds and arrow slits to sort of climb himself up. They look around again and see that most of the people are heading towards the celebration, so they should have enough time for them to be able to open this door somehow. They run through some ideas on how to open it, but Styx uses his Caprine Leap ability to jump to the top of the wall again. He rolls a 15 with hope, and that's enough for him to get up there with no issue. He finds a crank winch, which is why he couldn't open the door. It's not a push door, it's a lift door again. Styx rolls strength and he tries to attempt to crank the winch. He rolls a 9. He then lowers the rope back down to the others to try to avoid the wall. Matt lets them all mark a stress so they can go up the wall and the rope without having to roll strength. Everyone takes this because it's a much better deal than Misty trying to roll strength. They all see the expanse of the Orum welds from up here. Climbing up to the base of the mountain, or at least the top sections of the Idol Mountains here. They see a beautiful dome tower to the next to them, and they know that this is the Astra Foundry. They have to cross through the forest and then through the barrow to get to their destination. The party think that they are a day's journey ahead of Ghost Hook's party. They're going around the Astra Foundry. They don't need to go there. Misty plays some music, giving everybody a rally die. Idol instantly clears stress using the rally die. They climb down and they are met by an overgrown forest. They look at their map to guide their journey, and Idol will be the one to lead the way. He rolls a 14 with hope using an experience, but luckily Idol has an ability that where he failed a roll with using one, he can re-roll an experience by marking a stress. He did fail the roll, so he gets to re-roll. Now he rolls a 17 with fear, and they're able to push forward with confidence that they've gone the right way. They can hear the sound of the winds all around them, the shadow from the canopies and the branches that seem to make a network of treehouse bonds. Pine trees eventually take over the land as they go. The ground is soft until they hear a crunch and there's bone beneath them. Many struggles have happened here and many deaths. The knots within the trees seem to have eyes and faces. They follow the path as long as they can. They seemingly have avoided many dangers along the way. Off in the distance, they can hear something tearing something else apart. Brixton will then lead the next leg of their journey. Instinct roll, she gets a 23 with fear. Matt spends a fear. They travel around for another 20 minutes, and the shadows grow darker and the temperature drops. Brixton feels something cold touching her leg, and she looks down and doesn't see anything. Presence roll, she rolls a 15, and Idle gives her a prayer dice to add to it. The cold feeling suddenly goes away. They can hear creaking like the landscape is very angry that whatever it was trying to do was stopped. Idle then makes a presence roll himself, 18, with hope. He resists the influence of the woods. Everyone makes an instinct reaction roll. 14 from Idle. Brixton gets a 15, 12 from Snicks, and 19 from Misty. Idle and Snicks both get lost in thought as they're looking at the trees, and they turn back and they're no longer with Misty or Brixton. The two groups have suddenly split in different directions. They all start to freak out a little bit. Misty asks how long they've been here, and Idle and Snicks need to both mark a stress. After an hour, they're able to find each other. Misty thinks that they need to tie themselves together. Idle and Snicks don't think it's necessary, as, after all, they were the ones who got lost, not them. The boys didn't get lost here, guys. Matt spends a fear. The wood doesn't want them to leave, it seems. There is now a consequence counter back on the table. It starts at 4, and if it hits 0, something will find them. Snicks wants to find a creature so he can talk to it. He finds a raccoon-like creature up in a tree. Matt says raccoon-like creature, but it just seems like a raccoon. He walks over to it and casts Nature's Tongue. It's a spellcasting roll, and in the Orum Wilds, one must roll 2 fear dice and take the higher fear dice. So it's 1 hope dice and 2 fear dice. He rolls a crit, which is nuts. He then calls up to the raccoon, and he asks for a way to the barrow. The raccoon says he's never been too far away from his home. He just stays where he's told to stay. He says if Snicks gets too close, it'll bite his balls off. I had to include this because the voice that Matt was using literally made me fucking fall out of my chair. It was so funny. Snicks asks for a building with a golden glow within it, and the raccoon actually points them in a direction. Snicks rolls insight and gets a 8 with fear, lowering the encounter to 1. So they're now 1 step away from finding something, or something finding them. Snicks says to have a good day and asks for the raccoon's name, and the raccoon says Kinosh the Ball Eater. Sorry, the Eater of Balls. The Ball Eater is a certain ship in a different game. They follow the direction from the raccoon as most of the terrain here gets rockier. The ground here is dark, and the route is also very dark. It seems to be showing physical manifestations of the curse. They can see a spark of golden flame. There's a ruin in the center of this forest, a small temple that has fallen to where is now just the frames of an old temple. It is covered in vines and greenery. Ada doesn't like it. He thinks it's too simple, as the party start to think that this might be the destination that they're trying to find with the branch. He rolls an instinct roll to see if it's an illusion before him. He rolls a 17 with hope. He feels a flicker of nature's power. It's deep in the roots here and of this land. A seed that has a golden spark that represents the connection to the region, but it is very sick, twisted by the Umbra. Matt spends a fear, and the encounter clock hits 0. The roots burst out, and the ruins shift and become armor. And now a bipedal natural guardian creature rises before them, made of roots and the ruins. The roots try to find a head where it should be, but can't really find purchase in anything. In the center of the creature is the golden spark, the flicker that they saw before, the flicker of ancient power, sick with dark magic. Matt then grabs a map. The Fane Warden's roots reach out and grab a 12-foot-long blade with red runes lightning across it. Misty walks up to it. She wants to talk to it. They don't really want to fight this thing. Brixton walks up with her, and the boys spread out to opposite directions. Misty takes a knee and asks if the guardian, the guardian of the blessed branch here. She hears the sounds of wood cracking as there's no response without a mouth. Misty says they came for the branch and explains why they're here and what's happened to them to get here. It raises its hand, and the light sort of gathers in its palm before it surrounds it in darkness once again. It then lets out a vine spear towards Misty. Strength reaction roll for Misty. She rolls a 16, which is a success, and she isn't pulled in by the vine. They hear a horrible sound from it. Matt then spends another fear to make it move towards Misty. The party think that they need the golden light. They think it might be like a key towards the branch. Idle fires a bolt beacon he hits with hope and deals 10 damage. Idle can feel the spark, and it feels like it's dying inside. Matt spends another fear to activate the warden, and then another fear on top of that to make it do an arch attack. It swings for Misty, Brixton, and Snyx, and it cuts trees down in the process. It also hits all 3 of them, dealing 22 damage to each of them. Brixton uses Unstoppable to take less damage, and uses Armor to reduce it even more. Strength rolls, but they all fail, and they're all thrown backwards in the forest a little bit. Snyx stands and conjures a swarm of beetles. He then moves up to flank the creature, and then casts Vicious Entangle on the warden. He hits with Fear, dealing 7 damage, and the warden is restrained. He then puts his ranger's focus on the warden. The warden then takes root, and the roots and vines of the warden dig into the ground, holding it in place. It is now unmoving. Matt then spends a Fear to Vine Spear Snyx. He fails his strength reaction roll and is pulled towards the warden, and then he is stabbed by the massive blade for 20 damage. The beetles do help reduce the damage, however. Snyx then Snyx then hits the ground. Brixton moves up in front of Misty, and she tries to figure out if this is in fact the tomb of the heretic saint, Evalier. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I might be saying it wrong. Evalar? I feel like it's Evalier. She rolls a knowledge roll and uses her experience to gain advantage on the roll, and she uses her rally die. She rolls a 21 with hope, and she looks at the temple, and it's more of a shrine to this fane of the land as opposed to the whatever is in the barrow. A barrow is also normally buried in hills and mountains. So no, this is not the saint's shrine, but a shrine to the land, if you will. And the spark of this land is sort of dying. They can kill this creature or they can redeem the beast. This is what they get for talking to a raccoon. They asked for a shining light, and he told them where it was. Idle then runs up far range agility check. He rolls a 17 with Fear. He's able to run up to the warden, but it then swings for Idle and hits for 14 damage. Idle then grabs it and uses a sparing touch to pump some healing divine magic into it, clearing 2 stress from the warden. The roots suddenly glow and the spark gets brighter within. The progress counter reduces now to 2. Misty then reaches out into her memory and finds an ancient song to play. She uses Song of Heartbreak and gives hope to her allies and the warden. She finds a song about nature and its beauty and how it provides for the creatures in the land. She plays the song from the old times from before the Grand Ordinance deemed this creature unworthy. The music makes the glow inside burn brighter yet again. Matt spends a Fear and then another swing on both Snyx and Idle, missing both, however. The sword is caught in the stone that it's slammed into. Idle then takes his hands and puts it deep within the vine's chest and uses a healing hands to pump divine magic into it once again. Snyx spends a hope to give aid to this roll, giving him advantage. Idle then rolls a 22 with Fear. How does he want to heal this? He tells the warden to remember it's one of the oldest powers and strongest powers in nature. The roots and the runes then suddenly start to glow a golden color. The glow fades away, and it is now a moss-covered green instead of the dark brown and black that it was before. It then picks up its sword and slams it into the ground. It looks to Idle. It moves the spark to where its head would be, and they feel the forest thank them. It steps back into the forest, and its roots reaches out and becomes a massive, healthy tree in the temple. All of them gain 2 hope, and the forest is now healing a little bit. Snyx says that Idle is a true priest, and the party think that what he did was amazing. They also tell Misty that her song was very beautiful, and she's not sure where it came from. The sounds of bird chirping return to the forest for a bit. They were scared in the darkness, but now have a moment of reprieve. Snyx can feel the heart of the breathing land struggling to fight back against the darkness, but in this moment they have beat it back a little bit. The trees shift and move, making a path for the party to go straight to the Idle Hollow's peaks. Snyx thinks that it's weird that he wasn't the one to beat the creature, because he normally does. Idle thinks that they should get moving. As they go, Misty sort of traces the trees with her hands. She can feel the work isn't quite done here, but they've given it a better chance to hold the line against the darkness. They feel the appreciation from the land as they go. They push forward, and eventually the path opens up. A few hours pass. Rain begins to fall from the storm cloud above. It's cold, and the mist sort of thickens up here. They find carved steps of a forgotten stone, and they see an archway off in the distance that is hidden in the shadow, and the door, it is a stone door covered with overgrown dead roots. This is the Barrow of Blind Repose, the temple of the heretic saint. They feel a chill pass over them as their journey is sort of coming to an end, should there be a branch there at all. But that's all they can do. Hope, and that's all that they have. Should be enough. And this is where the session ends. So there you have it, episode 7 of the Age of Umbra. This was an interesting episode because I personally was really looking forward to some Damasque Queen stuff, but unfortunately the 2 characters who relate to the Damasque Queens currently aren't with the party, so we didn't really have to deal with them too much, which, you know, I was sort of hoping that because those 2 weren't there that they would sort of skip the Cineabar quarter, because I was starting to think that, like, they might die if, you know, like, they might all die on the way to the Barrow of Blind Repose. So it's kind of a good thing that they sort of skipped it over and, you know, made that section seem a lot shorter than it actually was. So that was a good move, because I definitely felt like with how little time they had left that they might all not make it based on, like, everything that's happening. They might not make it at all, sort of deal. But they've made it to the Barrow of Blind Repose, is really cool. I like the idea that now there's like a section of this forest that is healed a little bit, which might make it a little easier for people to traverse. And I kind of like the idea that as they've been moving, they've sort of been cleansing certain areas of things, right? Not many areas have been like truly cleansed or anything like that. This is the only one that's probably like actually been cleansed. But like you can even think back to like the Screaming Forest where they killed off Mother, which means for a little while there's going to be some reprieve from the Hive dealing with people maybe. So hopefully that's a good sign for people trying to move through there. So overall, this is they've been doing a good job, making the path a little safer. So maybe on their way back, they won't have to deal with too many things in combat. But we shall see, because next week is the last episode. And I'm looking forward to seeing how this all wraps up. I'm very, I kind of hope they don't just jetpack back to Desperlock after they get the branch, but it might be a thing they do. Who knows? But yeah, overall, I'm very excited. Also, one other thing that has happened today that is really cool. I woke up, started making myself breakfast, delivery guy rolled in, and now my Daggerheart stuff is here. So I'm going to be doing another video at some point this week. I don't know if it's going to be, I think Tuesday is going to be a regular video, and I just don't know what other day to put a video out. Maybe it'll be like a Thursday video before the last episode of Age of Umbra comes out. Who knows? Maybe. I would like to do an unboxing for this because it was expensive, and I want to open it and have reactions with you guys. Not necessarily with you guys, but you guys will see the box open up. It's the limited edition too. So I'm very excited about that. But anyway, the longer I talk about this, the longer this exit to this video is going to be. So yeah, I'll see you guys on Tuesday for whatever video I make next. Peace.